Why do you believe that the death penalty needs to be abolished?
The death penalty needs to be abolished for many reasons. It's racist, it discriminates against the poor. You don't see rich people on death row. They have lawyers to pay attorneys to get them off. Some of these men have only lawyers that are provided by the state that actually sleep. Some of them are disbarred. Some of them just really don't care. I also believe that it creates more victims. I consider myself to be a victim of the death penalty. I have a brother that's on death row. He is innocent of murder, factually innocent of murder. His roommate is the one that actually committed the murder, and he was sentenced to die in 2002. Danny, the person that actually committed the murder, was executed already. My brother had a death sentence for August 21st of last year, and we got to stay just 2 hours before he was to be executed. We're still fighting the system. I once was pro-death penalty. My stance has changed over the last 13 years. I started reading the Bible about Jesus. I don't want to get all religious on anybody, but my stance of the Bible says, you know, you need to show mercy in order to be shown mercy, and you need to forgive in order to be forgiven. And that's my stance on everything. Everybody's human. We all make mistakes, some bigger than others, but punishment should never be somebody's life. Today, I belong to several different anti-death penalty organizations, locally, globally, and statewide. I'm one of the planners of the 10th March to abolish the death penalty that took place here today. It was from 1 to 5. We had well over 500 people come out in March. We marched down from the Capitol to 6th Street and from 6th Street back, saying all kinds of chants. We had several different exonerees come out. We had friends and family members of Todd Willingham, who was innocent of murder, and that's the controversy that's all over the news these days.
And he was killed by the state?
He was killed by the state, yes. For arson. He supposedly set a fire that killed his 3 children. They painted him out to be a monster, but it turns out that the governor had information on his desk before he was executed that said, you know, that it was not arson. And recently, all the controversy is, how do you say it? He's fired several members of the panel and replaced them with his lackeys, for lack of a better term. So he's not being held accountable for his actions. He knew, you know, that the science was faulty. And so several different people in the Willingham case, fire experts throughout the nation, have come forward and examined the evidence and shown that it was not arson. And that they did use faulty science from back in the day. See, with Texas, everybody thinks that these guys have all kinds of appeals, and you know they do. But if you don't bring things up in a time, or they're not filed in time, then it doesn't matter if it completely exonerates you. You can't use it. And his friends and family and pals, the lawyer that defended him, he was out here and spoke today as well. There were several other families. There was a family of Reginald Blanton, who's scheduled to be executed this Tuesday. Reggie's also innocent. Of course, I was here speaking about my brother. There was about 7 or 8 different other law of parties, because my brother was convicted under the law of parties, meaning he never committed murder, somebody else did, but he was sentenced right along with them. But in my brother's case, he was not even in the building when the murder took place. He was outside.
But he knew the people who committed the murder?
Right. The murder was committed by my brother's roommate. And it's a whole long, drawn-out story, but the fact of the matter is my brother never knew that a murder was going to take place. And
he was killed?
No, well, not yet. We're still fighting the state. We're still fighting the state on that. But there was a lot of, at least 7 or 8 other law of party families here. Randy Halprin, Rudy Medrano, Humberto Garza, Robert Garza. I know for sure that those families were here. Clinton Young's family was here. He has an innocence claim, but I'm not too familiar with that particular case right now, but that's one of the newer ones that's coming to the attention of everybody right now.
Since the most of the rest of the world, of at least the industrialized, civilized nations, have abolished the death penalty, where do you see in the future the United States as far as getting rid of this draconian punishment?
Well, right now we're behind everybody else. We are the last democratic nation to still have the death penalty, and it's an absolute travesty of justice. No government should have the right to kill its citizens, no matter what. I mean, like I said before, people make mistakes, but nobody should ever pay for those mistakes with their life. I don't know if you heard the speech I gave earlier or not, but, you know, Supreme Court carved into the wall, it says equal justice under law. Well, how is it just that somebody, let's say under the law of parties, is killed for never killing anybody, but you've got a terrorist that's killed thousands of people and they just get a life sentence? I mean, it's not equal. And until it's equal, until we can, you know, have a system that is equal and without flaw, but that will never happen. Humans are just humans, and we make mistakes. And prosecutors can lie and bend the truth and lead a jury to believe what they want.
When one person kills another person, it's called murder. But when the state kills 100,000 people, that's just our foreign policy.
Right.
Do you think there's a difference between the state killing someone and an individual killing someone? Is it justified for the state?
I don't think it is justified for the state. I don't think they should have the right to kill anybody. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, my Bible says thou shalt not kill. That's anybody. And, you know, I don't think that any government should have control over its people so much as to say, you know, they have the right. We're supposed to be, as members of the United Nations, supposed to be following, you know, I guess the Declaration of Independence that the United Nations follow, you know, and United Nations is anti-death penalty as well, but we still continue to kill people.
Why does the state kill people who kill people to teach that killing people is wrong?
I love that quote. One of the kids earlier said, when is it going to end? She just said, well, how did she put it? Let's say I kill somebody and then you have somebody kill me because I killed somebody else, and then somebody's got to kill you for killing that person. When is it going to end? You know, it'll be one person left if that's the case. You know, if that's the law. And, you know, it just needs to be changed. It's wrong.
You can't live like that. It's barbaric.
Like that. It is absolutely barbaric.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you very much for covering the march and everything about it. There is a website that you can go to that'll tell you, and there will be all kinds of video all over from the march on YouTube. So just look it up, 10th Annual March to Abolish the Death Penalty.
Thank you.
Thank you.